My girlfriend demanded. Block your female cousin on social media. I don't care if you grew up together. I said that seems extreme. She blocked her from my account while I was sleeping. Well, my cousin called crying because she thought I'd cut her off, and I explained what happened. Original post. I, 27 male, work as a claims adjuster for an insurance company. It's not exciting, but it pays well enough, and I'm good at reading situations, which is ironic because I clearly couldn't read the one happening in my own apartment. My cousin and I are 11 months apart. Our moms are sisters. We grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same schools K through 12, and spent every summer at our grandparents' house together. She's not just family. She's one of my closest people on this planet. When my dad walked out when I was 13, she was the one sitting on my porch steps with me at midnight while I tried not to cry. When her first serious boyfriend cheated on her in college, I drove 3 hours on a Tuesday night to bring her Taco Bell and let her vent in a parking lot until 2 a.m. That's the kind of relationship we have. She's basically the sister I never had. My girlfriend and I had been together for about 14 months. Met through a mutual friend. Things were good at first. She was funny, driven, attractive. But around the 6-month mark, the jealousy stuff started creeping in. Small at first. She didn't like me texting female coworkers. She asked me to unfollow a girl I went to high school with, someone I hadn't talked to in years, because she didn't like her energy. I did it because it genuinely didn't matter to me. But then she set her sights on my cousin. It started because my cousin posted a throwback photo on Instagram. The two of us at a lake when we were like 16, both sunburned, both making stupid faces. Totally innocent. My girlfriend saw it and said, "Why is she posting pictures of you?" I said, "Because we're family and it's a throwback. She's not your sister. She's my cousin. We grew up together. Cousins aren't that close. It's weird." I explained our history. She didn't care. Over the next few weeks, she'd bring up my cousin constantly. If my cousin liked one of my posts, "Why is she watching your page?" If I liked one of my cousin's posts, "Do you have to interact with her publicly?" If my cousin texted me, "What does she want now?" Then one night, a Thursday, I remember because we just had takeout Thai, she sat across from me and delivered the ultimatum. "I need you to block her on everything. Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. All of it." I put down my pad CEW. "Block my cousin?" "Yes. My cousin who I've known since birth. I don't care if you grew up together. The way she acts around you is inappropriate, and the fact that you can't see it tells me you're either blind or you enjoy the attention." I told her that seemed extreme. She said it wasn't negotiation, it was a boundary. I told her there's a difference between a boundary and a demand, and this was firmly the second one. She got quiet, did the thing where she stares at the wall like she's recalculating, and said, "Fine, think about it." I thought she dropped it. She didn't drop it. 3 nights later, a Sunday, I fell asleep on the couch watching football. My phone was on the coffee table, unlocked because it had been playing a podcast. I woke up around midnight, went to bed, thought nothing of it. Monday morning, my phone rang at 7:15 a.m. It was my cousin. She was crying. "Why did you block me?" she said. "What did I do?" I was half asleep. "What? I didn't block you. I'm blocked on everything. Instagram, Snap, Facebook. I try to send you a message, and it says user not found. I thought maybe it was a glitch, so I had my roommate check, and your profile shows up fine for her." My stomach dropped. I checked my phone. Instagram, blocked. Snapchat, removed and blocked. Facebook, blocked. All done sometime between when I fell asleep and when I woke up. My girlfriend had gone through my phone while I was sleeping and blocked my cousin on every single platform. I told my cousin, "I didn't do this. Give me an hour. I'll call you back." I unblocked her on everything immediately. Then I sat on the edge of my bed and waited for my girlfriend to get out of the shower. She came out in a towel, saw my face, and knew instantly. "You went through my phone," I said. She didn't even flinch. "I did what you wouldn't. You blocked my cousin from MY accounts while I was asleep because you were too weak to set a boundary yourself. That's not a boundary. That's you controlling who I'm allowed to have in my life." She sat on the bed and crossed her arms. "If you cared about this relationship, you'd understand why I had to do it. I've been telling you for weeks that her behavior makes me uncomfortable, and you've done nothing." Her behavior? She posted a throwback photo and likes my posts. That's not behavior. That's having a cousin. You're choosing her over me. I'm choosing not to cut off my family because you've decided normal family interaction is a threat. She stared at me for a long time and then said, if you re-add her, we're going to have a serious problem. I said, we already have a serious problem. She went to work. So did I. But during my lunch break, I called my cousin back and told her everything. Every single detail, the jealousy, the demands, the phone invasion, all of it. My cousin was quiet for a few seconds. Then she said, I thought I did something wrong. I went through our entire message history trying to figure out what I said. I couldn't sleep last night. That's when I knew this wasn't something I could negotiate around. My cousin lost sleep thinking she'd hurt me because someone went through my phone in the dark and decided my family wasn't allowed to exist in my life anymore. I told my cousin, this isn't going to happen again. I promise. Update 1. So it's been 5 days since the phone incident. And my girlfriend did not take the "we have a serious problem" conversation the way I intended. Instead of any kind of reflection, she went on offense. Full campaign mode. Day 1 after the fight, she called her mom. I know this because her mom texted me. Not called, texted, a paragraph that started with "I understand you're having relationship troubles," and ended with "a woman who feels insecure just needs reassurance, and a good man provides that." I didn't respond. Day 2, she started a thing I'm going to call the evidence folder. She went through my cousin's entire Instagram, years of posts, and screenshotted every photo or comment that could be twisted into something suspicious. My cousin commenting, looking good, on a photo of me in a suit at a wedding. My cousin tagging me in a meme about my favorite person. My cousin and me in a group photo where her arm was around my shoulder. She compiled all of this into an album on her phone and presented it to me like a prosecutor laying out exhibits. This, she said, holding up her phone, is not normal cousin behavior. I scrolled through the screenshots. This one is from 2019. This meme is literally about family. And in this group photo, my aunt is standing right behind us. You're not seeing the pattern. Because there isn't one. She got up and said, I'm going to send these to my friends and let them decide. And she did. She sent the screenshots to a group chat with her 3 closest friends. I know, because one of those friends, a woman who'd always been cool to me at group dinners, texted me privately that night and said, hey, just so you know, she shared a bunch of screenshots in our chat trying to prove your cousin is into you. I looked at them, and they're completely normal. I'm sorry she's doing this. That text mattered. A lot. Because up to that point, a small part of me was wondering if maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was too close to see it. But when someone outside the situation looks at the evidence and says it's nothing, that's clarity. Day 3 is when she pulled the move I genuinely didn't see coming. She DM'd my cousin, from her own account, a long message. I didn't see it until my cousin forwarded it to me. But the gist was, I think you know what you're doing with your behavior toward my boyfriend. I'm asking you woman to respect our relationship and create some distance. If you really care about him, you'll understand. My cousin's response was perfect. One line, I've been in his life for 27 years. I'll be here long after you're gone. My girlfriend screenshotted that response and sent it to me with the caption, see, this is what I'm talking about. She's competing with me. I said, she's not competing with you. She's just not intimidated by you. There's a difference. Day 4, she tried to get my mom involved. Called my MO, told her she was concerned about the dynamic between me and my cousin and that she hoped my mom could talk some sense into me. My mom, who has known my cousin since the day she was born, who babysat us both, who watched us build blanket forts and catch fireflies and grow up into adults who still actually like each other, listened politely, then called me and said, your girlfriend just called and tried to tell me your cousin is a problem. I want you to know that's the most ridiculous thing anyone has ever said to me, and I've worked retail for 30 years. I love my mom. Day 5 is when I made my decision. Not because of one thing, because of the accumulation. The phone invasion, the screenshot folder, the DM to my cousin, the call to my mother. Each one individually might have been something you could work through, but stacked together, it was a pattern. And the pattern was, anyone who matters to me is a threat, and the only acceptable response is removal. I sat down that evening and told my girlfriend we needed to talk. She immediately brightened up, I think she genuinely thought I was about to cave. She sat on the couch and folded her hands in her lap like she was ready to accept my surrender. I said, "I'm ending this." Her face dropped. "What? This relationship? It's over. Because of your cousin? Because you went through my phone? Because you blocked my family without my consent? Because you DM'd her trying to push her out of my life? Because you called my mother to recruit her into your campaign? Because you built a folder of screenshots trying to frame normal family interaction as something inappropriate? Because none of that is love, it's control." She started crying. Hard. The kind of crying where someone is genuinely shocked. And I'll be honest, for about 30 seconds, I almost backed down. Because when you care about someone and they're crying in front of you, your instinct is to fix it. But I kept hearing my cousin's voice on the phone at 7 a.m. asking what she did wrong. And I stayed where I was. My girlfriend said, "You're going to regret this. You'll never find someone who cares about you as much as I do." I said, "I hope that's true, because this level of caring is exhausting." I told her she had until the weekend to get her things from the apartment. Lease was mine. I'd had it before she moved in about 4 months ago. Most of her stuff was still at her mom's place anyway. She left that night. Update 2. Okay, so the breakup was 6 days ago, and I need to update because the aftermath has been a lot. First, she did not go quietly. The night she left my apartment, she called me 11 times between midnight and 3 a.m. I didn't answer. She left 2 voicemails. The first one was crying, "Please don't do this. I know I went too far. I can change." The second one, left about an hour later, was completely different in tone. "You're making the biggest mistake of your life, and everyone is going to know what kind of person you are." The next morning, I woke up to texts from 3 of her friends. One was sympathetic, the same woman who'd warned me about the group chat. She said, "I heard what happened. I think you did the right thing." The other 2 were less kind. One said I was emotionally immature, and the other said I traumatized my girlfriend by choosing another woman over her. I responded to the sympathetic one with a thank you. The other 2 I left on read. Then her mom entered the chat, not with a text this time. She showed up at my apartment. Saturday afternoon, knocked on my door. I opened it because I genuinely thought it was my neighbor. Her mom stood there with her arms crossed and said, "I'm here to pick up her things and to tell you to your face that you're making a mistake." I said, "Her stuff is in boxes by the bedroom. I'll bring them out." While I was moving boxes, she followed me around the apartment, giving me a monologue about how her daughter loved me more than I deserved, and that I was throwing away a good woman because I couldn't handle her having standards. She said I was too close to my cousin and that normal men don't prioritize family over their partners. She actually said that normal men don't prioritize family. I set the last box down by the door and said, "Your daughter went through my phone in the middle of the night and blocked my family." She sent my cousin a threatening DM. She called my mother, trying to manipulate her. If those are standards, then yeah, I can't handle them. Her mom said she was protecting her relationship. That's what women do. I said, "That's not protection. That's isolation. And I grew up watching my dad do it to my mom before he left. So I know exactly what it looks like." She didn't have a response for that one. She took the boxes and left. Now here's where the consequences started catching up to my ex. Not through anything I orchestrated, but through the natural chain reaction of her own choices. Remember the DM she sent my cousin? My cousin had shown it to her mom, my aunt. My aunt told my grandma. My grandma is 74 years old, does not use Instagram, and does not care about boundaries discourse. Well, my grandma does care about his family. She called my ex directly. I don't know the full conversation, but my cousin told me my grandma said something along the lines of, "My granddaughter and my grandson have been family since before you existed and will be family long after you're gone. Don't ever contact her again." My grandma then called every family member in our circle, my mom, my uncle, my other aunt, and told them what happened. Not in a gossip way. In a, "you need to know someone try to split up these kids" way. Within 48 hours, my entire extended family knew the story. Not my version, not my ex's version, just the facts. She blocked the cousin. She DM'd the cousin. She called the mom. The result was that my ex became persona non grata with my family overnight, which normally wouldn't matter post-breakup, except for one thing. Her best friend from college is engaged to my older cousin on my dad's side. They run in the same extended social circle. And when my family started talking, that information migrated. My ex's best friend, the college one, not the group chat one, called her and said, "Wait, you DM'd his cousin and told her to back off? And you went through his phone? Why did you tell me he broke up with you for no reason?" Apparently, my ex had told her friends a sanitized version, that I'd broken up with her because I wasn't ready for a serious relationship and that I'd chosen to keep my life small. She'd left out every single detail about the blocking, the DMs, the screenshot folder, and the call to my mom. Once the real story started circulating, the narrative collapsed. The two friends who'd texted me, calling me immature, went quiet. The one who'd already been sympathetic told me, "The more details come out, the worse it looks for her." My ex's college best friend told her she was disappointed and that she'd lost credibility. And here's the part that I think hit my ex the hardest. Her mom, who had been her biggest defender, her attack dog, her strategic advisor through all of this, got a phone call from my aunt. My aunt, who is a calm, measured, doesn't raise her voice kind of woman, apparently told my ex's mom, "Your daughter sent mine a threatening message trying to push her out of her own family. Don't call my nephew again, and don't ever contact my daughter." My ex's mom, from what I've been told, tried to defend her daughter. My aunt said, "I've read the message. There's nothing to defend," and hung up. After that call, my ex's mom apparently stopped campaigning on her behalf. Not because she had a change of heart, but because she ran out of people willing to listen. When your own allies start going quiet, the crusade loses momentum. Update 3, final. It's been about a month. I wasn't going to update again, but enough people asked, so here it is. My ex and I haven't spoken directly since the breakup. She tried once, about 2 weeks ago, by sending me an email. Not a text, not a call. An email, like a formal correspondence. It was 4 paragraphs long. The gist was that she still believed the dynamic with my cousin was inappropriate, but that she acknowledged her methods were wrong. She said she hoped I'd eventually see things from her perspective, and that she wished me well. She did not apologize. Not once in 4 paragraphs. She acknowledged methods. That's corporate speak for, "I regret getting caught," not what I did. I didn't respond. My cousin is fine. Better than fine. The week after everything blew up, she sent me a care package, a bag of those gas station gummy worms I've liked since we were kids, a 6-pack of root beer, and a card that said, "Thanks for not dumping me for someone who thinks memes are flirting. Love you, weirdo." It's taped to my fridge. We talked about the DM my ex sent her. My cousin said she wasn't angry. She was more sad than anything. She must be really insecure to see me as a threat, she said. I hope she gets help someday. My cousin's a better person than me because I do not currently hope that. My family closed ranks in a way I didn't expect. Sunday dinner at my grandma's house 2 weeks after the breakup, which I almost didn't go to because I thought it'd be awkward, turned out to be totally normal. Nobody brought up the ex. Nobody gave me the sad single nephew treatment. My grandma just put an extra scoop of mashed potatoes on my plate and said, "You look thin. Eat." That's love in her language. The professional fallout from my ex was minimal, which I want to be honest about. This isn't the kind of story where someone loses their job over relationship drama. She's still employed, still living her life. The consequences were social, not professional. Her friend group thinned out. Not dramatically. She didn't become a pariah, but the people who knew the full story started keeping their distance. Her college best friend stopped defending her publicly. The group chat apparently dissolved after 2 of the 4 members said they didn't want to be part of the drama anymore. Her mom still hasn't contacted me. My aunt's phone call seems to have been a permanent deterrent. I'm told through the grapevine that her mom still tells people I was intimidated by a strong woman, which is a creative interpretation of events, but not one that holds up when people ask follow-up questions. The one thing I've been sitting with, and this is the honest, not for Reddit part, is how close I came to just going along with it. The first time she asked me to unfollow that high school acquaintance, I did it without a second thought. Because it didn't matter. And that's how it starts. With something that doesn't matter. Then it's the coworker who doesn't matter. Then it's the college friend who doesn't matter. Then it's the cousin who matters more than almost anyone. And by then, you've already set the precedent that her comfort outweighs your connections. Each small concession trains you to make the next one. I'm glad my cousin called crying that Monday morning. Not glad she was hurt. I'd undo that if I could, but glad it was the thing that made me see the full picture. Because if my ex had been smarter about it, if she'd done it gradually instead of all at once, I might have let it happen. And I'd be sitting here 2 years from now with no friends, no family connections, and a girlfriend who'd convinced me that isolation was love. I've started being more intentional about the people in my life. Texting my cousin more, calling my mom on my drive home from work, showing up to my grandma's on Sundays, even when I'm tired. Because those relationships are the ones that were there before any girlfriend and will be there after. My cousin and I are planning to go to a baseball game next month. Upper deck, overpriced hot dogs, the whole deal. She already texted me. I'll post 12 photos and tag you in every single one, just to establish dominance. I told her to go for it. Some people come into your life and make it bigger. Some people come into your life and try to make it smaller until they're the only thing in it. I'm done with the second kind.